Hi, everyone. So, welcome to the live stream today. Very much excited for having you again on the live stream as we continue with our discussion towards the ICA November 2021 examination. And really want to go into some Q&A sessions today and then share my thought on various things that you need to look out for, and also most importantly for us to be able to have an idea of how the exams is actually going to be like ultimately at the end of the day. And I see some of you guys joining. You are welcome. Right. So I see some of you guys joining. You are welcome to the live stream. Give us a thumbs up on the video when you join, and also share the video. Let us reach as many students as possible. We are live on YouTube as well as live on Facebook. So give us a thumbs up on the video. Share the video in your WhatsApp groups, in your Telegram groups, and other platforms on YouTube. Just click on the share button and copy the link and share real quick. I see some thumbs up coming in from Facebook. Thank you very, very much. It's really a pleasure. It's been a while since I came on the live stream, but hey, we're back now, and we're going to be going through this until we are going to look at what we need to look out for. So today it's going to be a Q&A session. I want to answer any questions that you have so far. Now, we've done 6 weeks in our discussion towards the ICA November 2021 examination, and the CA has opened registration. In case you are not aware of that, the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana has opened registration for the examination, which means that registration is actually in progress, and you can do that from now up until 18th of October 2021 in that case. So put it in the comment section, put it in the chat box. Any questions you have for me, what you would want me to share my thought on real quick. This is a Q&A session. I'm going to provide you with some strategies. So far, 6 weeks. How has your learning been? What have been your challenges? What have you covered so far? What are some of the things you would want me to share my thought on? What are some of the topics you would want us to cover during our live stream session? So put them in the chat for me, put them in the comment box for me, because I really want to hear from you guys, and let's know how far you have been with your journey in that particular case. So I want to see if I can bring up the flyer. Doris Ehonam, I see you in the chat. You are welcome, and thanks for joining us, Doris. I see some of you guys joining. Put in the chat box, how has your journey been so far for you preparing for the CA November 2021? 6 weeks is gone. We have 10 weeks to go. We are now in the 7th week. And so let me know, how has the journey been for you so far? What are the challenges? What questions do you have for me? What are some of the things that you want me to share my thought on? And what are some of the challenges that you've been facing as you prepare yourself for the exams in that case? So put it in the comment section for me. Put it in the chat. It's a Q&A session. I want to hear from you guys and see what you're doing in that case. Eric Novinho, sorry if I don't mention your name right, okay? And then Amina Amasam with a thumbs up on Facebook. Thank you very much. Okay, so some questions are coming in. I'm going to be replying to all of your questions. This is a Q&A session. I'm going to share my thought on how you can prepare well for the examination. So put in the comment section any questions you have for me. What do you want me to share my thought on? I would want to bring that and share my thought on that with you real quick in that case, real quick. All right, so let me bring this up real quick. So this is the ICA official flyers for the November 2021 examination. And like I said, registration is open today, 16th of August 2021, and it is ending on 18th of October 2021. Exam centers are familiar as what you know already. Zenith College, UPSA in Accra, then Tema ECG Training School, Kumasi. We have also 2 centers there, WAEC offices, and then Gimpa campuses, or campus, sorry. Then all the regional capitals. For those outside Ghana, only Liberia, that is the capital of which is Monrovia. That's where the exam is going to take place at the end of the day. To register, all you have to do is to visit sms.icag.com, and then you can register for the exams. The fees are there: 180 level 1, 280 level 2, and then 300 Ghana cedis per paper in level 3. Like I say all the time, you want to make sure that you're not going to pay this money and at the end of the day go and fail the exams. It is for this reason why you need to really put in the effort, put in the work, put in the sacrifice, and do whatever it is you need to do in order for you to pass the examination. Okay, so some questions are already coming in. Let me read them real quick, and then let's look at how I can answer them. So if you are joining, put in the comment section, put in the chat box any questions you have for me that you would want me to share my thought on, what topics you would want us to cover from tomorrow on the live stream. Don't give me subjects, give me topics that you would want us to cover on the channel, areas of challenges that you would want me to share my thought on. Also, put all in the comment section as we plan and strategize how the rest of the 10 weeks will be designed during our live stream sessions as much as we can to come your way. So Raymond Adonko said, what is the strategy of approaching the exams? Must you read everything, and there are ways you can select areas to concentrate on and learn? Okay, so let me answer the question. I will say to a large extent, you have to read everything. But then you have to also know that you cannot read everything, right? So there are key areas you have to focus on to increase your chances of passing the examination. For instance, if you pick something like financial reporting, like I tell you all the time, you know there's going to be a question on accounting standards, 20 marks. You know there's going to be a question on single entity. So if I were you, I would not even look at really the single entity issue. I would just focus on the accounting standards and master the accounting standards well. Because mastering the accounting standards in financial reporting guarantees you 40 marks or 40% in the exam hall. That is the 20% for the standard question and then 20% for the single entity question in that case. So if you go through all the standards, 40 marks guaranteed, that is waiting for you. Then we know that there is definitely going to be question on ratios. So interpretation of financial statement is very critical, it's very basic. So definitely the examiner is going to be bringing a question under interpretation of financial statement. So number one, standards, giving us 40 marks. Number two, evaluation or interpretation of financial statements. We're going to be bringing that up. Then number three is going to be ethics. Ethics is very basic because that one also, the examiner will be excited about it and bring in between some 6 to 10 mark question in the exam hall. So what you want to do is to make sure that you understand the ethical principles. But what you got to do is that it is not about objectivity, professional competence and due care, confidentiality, professional behavior, and integrity. No, it is about how these principles are applied when a scenario is pulled up for you in that particular case. So if, for instance, so maybe Raymond Adonko, give me a subject you are writing for the November 2021, then I can give you a specific strategy on that. Give me a subject you are writing for the November 2021, Raymond Adonko, and let me see what I can do with that. So for financial reporting, I know there will be question on standards. So you got to be solid on all the standards. IAS 16, IAS 40, IAS 23, IFRS 5, IFRS 16, IFRS 15, IFRS 9. All the accounting standards, you got to be solid about these standards. You cannot overemphasize or you cannot ignore that in that case. Then you got to be strong on ratios, because whether you like it or not, there is a question for you waiting in the exam, or then ethics is going to be critical there. So you realize that if you look at the standards carefully, you look at ratios carefully, you look at ethics carefully, then the final thing you'll be left with is consolidated financial statements. And I tell my students all the time that consolidated financial statement is one of the last things you want to do in the exam. It should be last or last but one. Because for some reason, I don't know who propagated that though, but for some reason, students doing corporate reporting and financial reporting come out with some mind that, oh, console is everything, but it is just 20 marks. And many a time, 99.9% of the time, Students approach the consolidated financial statements. They are able to do it, but they spend longer time than required. For that reason, they ultimately fail the exams. So the strategy for approaching the exams is, yes, there are key topical areas you have to focus on to increase the chances of passing the exams. Once you know the key topical areas that you have to focus on to ultimately pass the exams, then what is going to be happening is that you are now going to practice a lot of questions in that regard and then position yourself to go through it. And one of the things that I also say is that you do not have to read the entire question when you are solving the questions. And if you're a follower of my work or you are my student, you will understand some of these things that I'm saying there in that case. Okay, Raymond has come up with a subject he's writing, advanced taxation. Excellent. Now, if you are doing advanced taxation, this is conk. It's going to be in the exam hall. Number one, there is going to be a question on tax implication of transactions. Listen carefully. You know, definitely there is going to be tax implication on transactions. Now, the transactions could vary from investment decisions. The transaction could vary from tax planning. The question could vary on every other thing, but there is going to be tax implication of transactions. So you have to be on the lookout for that. Number two, definitely in the exam hall, there is going to be a question relating to standard tax planning measures. And it's very important for you to understand the standard tax planning measures, dealing with issues in relation to income splitting, in relation to transfer pricing, in relation to thin capitalization concept. You have to know all of those principles surrounding standard tax planning measures, and most importantly, the anti-avoidance measures as well. You have to be familiar with that. Okay, so if we are going with advanced taxation, these are critical. Then corporate tax liability. Whether you like it or not, there is something about corporate tax liability in the exam or waiting for you. Then the last part waiting for you is taxation of natural resources. Issues about mining, oil exploration, something is going to be there in the exam. So advanced taxation and tax in general is one of the easiest papers to pass because 99.9% of everything that you study is going to be in the exam hall. Taxation of natural resources is going to be there. Standard tax planning measures is going to be there. Tax implications of various transactions is going to be there. Corporate tax liabilities is going to be there. Along with corporate tax liabilities, you need to learn the issue about capital allowance, because the examiner could be excited about it and will give you an how do we call it, a specific question on capital allowance, or it could be integrated in the corporate tax liability question. So my approach to you is this: you need to identify what are the key areas I got to focus on. Then once you identify the key areas you got to focus on, number two, you need to study the key principles surrounding those key areas. Then number three, you need to now solve a lot of questions relating to these key areas. And then once you do that, now while solving the questions, you solve the questions under time. That's very critical. You solve the question under time, because time allocation is very critical as well, and that contributes to whether you pass the examination or you fail the examination ultimately. So Raymond, this is what I would say, and this goes as well to everybody else about how you approach the exams. Do you learn everything? Yeah, as much as possible you learn everything, but then there are key areas you got to focus on. And this is why I tell you guys to attend lectures, because if you are attending lectures somewhere, definitely your lecturer will tell you about some of these things and you'll be guided, so you don't have to learn on your own. And I tell you all the time, do not learn on your own. Do this along under the mentorship of a lecturer or a tuition provider, and that will help you to better understand. So Raymond, that is what I would say there in that case. Nana Ej Sikapa said, good evening, Nhyira. I will to share your thought on transfer pricing. Now, when you say transfer pricing in what? Because there's transfer pricing in taxation, advanced taxation, and there is transfer pricing in management accounting. So I don't know which area you are talking about. So maybe give me some clarity under that, then I can provide you with some knowledge on that case. I see some of you guys joining. You are welcome. This is a Q&A session. Comment in the chat box any questions you have for me. Most importantly, I wanted to give us a thumbs up on the video and also share the video. We want to reach as many students as possible watching the live stream as well as watching the playback. So together we can assist a lot of students across the country, across the continent, and most importantly, across the globe. I see what's that? Lamini with a thumbs up in the chat. Thank you, Lamini. Nicholas Boachi Ewa said, "Hello, this is my first time joining your live feed. I love your techniques, sir. God bless you. God bless you too, Nicholas, and welcome to the live stream." Wallace Walanyo said, "What's the strategy to pass strategic case study?" Wow, I love that. Now, the strategy to pass strategic case study is to know the key modules and how they apply in practice. Wallace Walanyo, sorry. You need to understand the key modules, and this is a document I'm working on currently for my students who are learning under my mentorship for the strategic case study. And this is a document that I'm working on where we are putting together all the key modules, when you use them, and how you apply them in cases. And it's a key document that I'm working on. We have all the modules covered, balance scorecard, and all of the key issues that we need to talk about in that case. So Wallace, strategic case study, you need to understand the modules. But then not just about the modules, how do they apply in a specific scenario? So that whilst you are reading the question, you know that, I need to apply the Unsolved growth metrics here. I need to apply the BCG metrics here. I need to apply whatever, maybe the directional policy metrics here. So it is about understanding the modules and where to apply. That is just one part of it. The second part is that definitely in the exam, there will be a question on financing or financial strategy. And that could be about interpretation of financial statements, or it could be about preparation of cash budget, or dealing with exchange rates. Again, that is financing aspects. Definitely there is a question waiting for you on the exam, all of that, on that. So that is also another aspect that you need to understand. 3 is that definitely, sorry, let me give water. 3 is that definitely there'll be a question on ethics and governance. No matter how the case is, the examiner will find ways and means to bring in ethics and governance. If he's excited about it, the 2 will come. If he's not excited, governance will be there, because corporate governance is very critical. So you want to make sure that you understand everything about corporate governance, the symptoms of poor corporate governance, how we can improve corporate governance in questions. But like I am saying, you're not just understanding these things for the understanding's sake. You are understanding these things to apply in specific scenarios. So it is one thing to understand the modules. It is another thing to know when to apply which module. So for instance, if an organization is deciding to gain competitive advantage as an organization, to become a market leader as an organization, then probably the organization may decide to use the Porter's generic module. And under the Porter's generic module, they can decide to be a cost leader, or a differentiation, or focus. Or if they are, that is a manufacturing company. If they are a service company, then maybe they will be excited to use the strategic clock by Bowman. So they may decide to do that. But then as you are using either the Porter's generic or the strategic clock, the 4 P's of innovation is also another way an entity can gain competitive advantage. So we have the 4 P's of innovation. That is also there. Another thing is the unsolved growth metrics. Probably the way we can increase our market share as an organization is either to adopt market penetration strategies, market development strategy, product development strategy, or even diversification. So you must know when each of these modules will be used by the entity. But then as you're suggesting each of these modules in the context, you must take care of suitability, acceptability, and then feasibility of the module that you are suggesting, because that is the criteria that makes the module successful for the case under consideration. So, Walanyo, if you ask me about strategic case study, these are the thoughts that I'll share with you on that case. And I believe that you are attending lectures, and wherever you are attending lectures at, your lecturer is going to be providing you with some blueprints that you need to understand as well. But from my perspective, the modules, understand them, but most importantly, know when to apply what. Understand the financial issues, ratios, cash budget preparation or cash forecast preparation, exchange rates, workings, and those things. You understand, have an idea about the investment appraisal techniques. All these are about financing. Make sure you have some ideas about those things. Ethics, don't throw it away. Governance, don't throw it away, because all these, it's about application. And most importantly, make sure you expose yourself to some questions. You can get an ICA question bank on strategic case study and have a clue of how the case study is, or you can also get the ACCA questions on strategic business leader and have an idea of how the cases are and how the modules are being used. Expose yourself. I tell my students all the time, it's not just about what I teach you in class. You've got to do a lot on your own in that particular case. So, Walanyo, that is what I would say there for you on strategic case study, and it goes as well to everybody else doing strategic case study. Now, I see some of you guys joining. You are welcome. Give us a thumbs up on the video when you join the video, and most importantly, comment in the chat box any questions that you have for me. I want to hear from you. I want to know, how is the journey so far? We are 6 weeks into it, and we are left with, guess what, 10 weeks to go. Registration has begun. How are you doing? How is the journey so far? And what do you want me to share my thought on? Boss Philip, and then a J Marfo, and then Kobe Bryan. Thank you very much for the likes on YouTube, on Facebook. Thank you very much. Please share the video as well. Let us reach as many students as possible in that case. Doris Ehonam said, Nhyira, my interest is the interpretation of financial statement. Wish you touch on that. Okay, Doris. Doris, I guess you are learning financial reporting under my mentorship, and you have access to the content already, even on the portal. But we also have another video on interpretation of financial statement on the YouTube channel, even here as well. But it is one of the things I'll be capturing live as well. So don't worry. Possibly from tomorrow we can capture this. So let me put it down. This is a done deal topic. So interpretation of financial statements. So Doris, we'll talk about this. Don't worry. So we'll talk about this on the live stream. The next one is Noisy. I'm so glad I could catch you live. Thank you for the help you've been putting out there. You've helped me a lot. Love from South Africa. Okay, that is great. Noisy Halsey. I don't know. Why did you call your name like that? Okay, I hope you're doing well. And thanks very much for joining us on the live stream. It's always a pleasure that I provide you guys with some of these contents and the assistance that you need to pass your examination, and most importantly, become more successful. So that's the goal. So just share the channel with your friends, your colleagues, and people who you know will be interested in it. And let's together reach as many students as possible, because there are a lot of people across the globe, across the continent, in your communities, in your schools, that will need content like this to help supplement or complement whatever it is that they are learning, so they can better rapidly pass their exams and become successful. Nicholas Boachi said, sir, please, I want to understand something under withholding tax. Okay, what do you want to understand under withholding tax? Okay, he said, provided that you are given a net profit before tax and there's rental income, but the question is silent on being gross or net, how will you treat it, please? Okay. So it depends on what is happening in the question, but note that it is not all the time that the rental income is on account. Some may be on account, some may be on final withholding tax. So it depends on where you are standing at. But then if the examiner is quiet, or the question is quiet, whether it is gross or net, use whatever assumption you are comfortable with, and then go with it in that case. Because the issue is that when dealing with tax and you are solving questions, whatever assumptions you use, you have to write them down. So once the question is quiet, just put it down as part of your workings and say, assuming the rental income is net, or assuming it is gross. Then once you state that assumption down and do your workings, the examiner will mark you right in that case. So if the examiner is quiet, use whatever assumption, either gross or net, but state it down. And once you state it down, you will be able to get the correct marks. You'll be able to get a marks correctly if you treat it the way it has to be treated. Okay, Nane J. Sikapa said transfer pricing in management accounting. Okay, so that's a huge thing. We'll talk about that later on. Thank you. Raymond Adonko Eduro said, great, thanks, boss. You're welcome, Raymond. Who else do we have? I see some of you guys joining. You are welcome. Comment in the chat box. Let me know, what questions do you have for me? What are the things you would want me to share my thought on? What topics you would want us to discuss from tomorrow as we resume seriously our online live session? So let me know the topics. So far, I have 2 topics coming up: transfer pricing in management accounting, and then interpretation of financial statements. And that is both in financial reporting and corporate reporting in that case. So let me know, what topics would you want us to cover in that case? Let me know. Lamini said, what are the key areas one need to focus on in readiness for FR exams? I think I've already mentioned this. When it comes to FR exams, the standards are critical. Interpretation of financial statement is critical. Ethics is critical. You know, these are the 3 things you need, period. Consolidation should be a final thing you do. You don't waste time on consolidation. And like I say all the time in the exam hall, let that be the last or the last but one question you solve. Like I say all the time, I don't know who propagated the agenda that console should be the first thing that you should do, and you know that you do it and you screw up at the end of the day. So stay away from consolidation in the exam, or do the standards, do ratios, do ethics. Let console be the last part. Do some workings about consolidation and then go away at the end of the day. Now, that doesn't mean you will not learn it. You learn it, but we are gearing you towards the exam. So Makoba Lamini, that is what I would say there. Emmanuel Mauli Zoto said, do you have full online tuition? Yes, we have a full online tuition. Our courses are available online, and you can join our live weekly Zoom sessions. You can join our live weekly Zoom session. It's 390 Ghana cedis per paper. You can visit NhyiraPremium.com and enroll in the course, make payment directly online. Then you can WhatsApp our WhatsApp line 050-114-9296, 050-114-9296. That's our WhatsApp line, and you can WhatsApp that line, and you'll be added to our group and get access to the timetable as well, and you can join us. So yes, we have a full online course that you can learn under my mentorship with that. You can also see the number below the screen scrolling there. Samuel Curry said, can one study CPA Section 6 for oneself without going to class? I am of the proponent that you are not supposed to study on your own, okay? Sacrifice and attend, take a class. Don't do it on your own. Because you see, one of the questions, one of the challenges of people is that, Nhyira, where I will go, they don't teach you well. Listen. You have to definitely be part of a community. Just look at where you can go and be guided. But most importantly, it's good you attend tuition. If you're a shark, fine. Good. Some people don't have to attend classes, and they know how to study, they know how to research, they know how to do things, so they will go in and pass. But probably you are not made for that. It's only when you take 100 people, probably only one person can do that and pull it up. So I would recommend that definitely you join a class somewhere, pay the money. Don't say it's expensive, pay it. It's better for you to charter and finish the program as soon as possible and start working and make more money than to do it on your own and go and fail. Do it on your own and go and fail. So I would recommend attend lectures. But then don't let attending lectures end there, because some of you attend lectures and you open your books once a week. That is when you have lectures. Like for instance, today we have public sector accounting and finance for our regular class. And people will open the books once a week. If you go and if you ask why, oh, my wife, my husband, my children, my babies, my boss, my work, those are excuses that will kill you. That will cause you emotional trauma. So attend lectures, but then that should not be the end. You must also dedicate time by yourself where you are doing something on your own. So that's what I would say, Samuel Courier. In that case, forgive me if I don't mention that name well, but I guess it's okay. Nana AJ Sikapa said, okay, I think I've already read that. Jeremy Rose said, good evening, Jeremy. I hope you're doing well. Samuel said, how do you go about learning IASs and applying to problem questions? Thank you. Okay. Now, the accounting standards are learned by looking at the key principles of the standards. But most importantly, you must understand that the accounting standards are not in isolation. They are interconnected. So the way you learn the standards is to learn them connected. What do I mean by that? For instance, if you are learning IAS 16, that's property, plant, and equipment. You don't finish and say, oh, I finished IAS 16. Oh, thanks be to God. Oh, now I understand IAS 16. You are a liar. Why is that? Because IAS 16 does not work alone. IAS 16 works with IAS 12, income tax, because there is a deferred tax issue about IAS 16 when assets are revalued. 2, there is IAS 37, provisions, contingent liabilities, contingent assets, because when there is an environmental cost that an entity has to pay, or there is provision that is related to a property, plant, and equipment, then it shall be included in the initial cost of the asset. So you must know that. Then there is IAS 23, borrowing cost. If we are acquiring a property, plant, and equipment, or building a property, plant, and equipment, then when we borrow fund for that, we must capitalize the expenditure in that particular case. So IAS 23 is working there. Then, as part of buying property, plant, and equipment, the entity may apply for government grant. For that reason, IAS 20 is going to be coming to town. Then, sometimes an entity may decide to use an asset for the day-to-day running, or for capital appreciation purposes, or move from there to the other. So IAS 40 could also be something that you need to understand in that case. Then, as you are learning IAS 16, you must note that his brother of IAS 36, impairment, would have to come on board. So look at what is going on here. You realize that just IAS 16 has relationship with what? All these standards. I know there are other standards, but I'm just excited about just these ones that I'm listing just to illustrate to you. So the way you learn the standards is not to learn them in isolation. You need to learn them and identify the relationship that exists between them. Once you learn them in connection like that and identify the relationship that exists between them, that is the only way you can pass the exams. I think around last week, Friday, we did a performance evaluation test here in financial reporting, and my students were like, Nhyira, we've not solved any question like this before, because now you are putting everything together. And I'm like, but I told you the standards are together, right? They are not in isolation, right? So that is where the challenge comes in. So Samuel, what I would say is that you learn the standards in connection and identify the principles under each of the standards, but most importantly, identify how they relate to each other, so that you don't finish something and say, I'm done with it, I can solve every question about it, but here you are, there is a revaluation of assets, but there is also a tax effect on that revaluation, and the deferred tax on the revaluation may have to go to the other comprehensive income, and you don't know about deferred tax. You don't know about taxable temporary difference or deductible temporary difference. So learn the standards together and understand the principles. Once you learn the principles and you learn the connection that exists between the standards, then you can now start to expose yourself to questions. Once you start exposing yourself to questions, that's how you can be solid and go into the exam hall and pass the exams at the end of the day. So Samuel Kure, that is what I would say in that case. Let me know if that makes sense for you. Then from Facebook, Kobe Brian said, hello, Nhyira. Please, will you be treating specific courses that I can follow whilst I study? Yes, we'll be treating courses, but we are going to be treating them based on the subjects at the end of the day. Sorry, based on the topics. So far, like I said, I've received 2 topic requests. So if there is a topic you want me to share my thought on, you could put it in the chat there real quick, and then I could add it to my slide. In that case, so far, I've got 2 topics coming up: transfer pricing in management accounting, and then interpretation of financial statements in financial reporting and corporate reporting. So if you want me to cover something, I will, but let me know in the chat. Elizabeth Dogbe said, good evening, good evening, sir. Good evening, Elizabeth. I hope you're doing well. Then she came back to say, sir, please, can you help me with the key principles to study for financial management? Key principles. Oh, let me add this to my topic. I'll be talking about this in the course of the week. Okay, so stay connected, Elizabeth. I think you already my student, so you stay connected. I'm going to be sharing some thought on this. In that case, let me pull it up. Look at what I wrote. Financial Dogbe. Can you imagine that? I'm using your name as a subject. So financial management key areas. Now, so let me provide you with some blueprints first. Then I will talk in detail about it much later on in that case. So if you're writing financial management, you got to understand that there are certain key topics that the examiner is going to be excited about all the time. Number 1, there is a question waiting for you on business finance. Now, when we say business finance, it's divided into 2: sources of finance and then cost of capital. So when it comes to the sources of finance, it could be long-term, it could be short-term, then most importantly also Islamic finance. These are key areas. Then that is the source of finance. Where do we get the money from? But then money is not free. So what is the cost of the money? That is cost of capital coming in. So when it comes to the cost of capital, you're going to do cost of equity. And you must know that when it comes to calculating cost of equity, you may use the dividend valuation module. You will use the capital assets pricing module, and you must know when to use what. Very critical at the end of the day. Then we come to cost of debt. Now, when it comes to cost of debt, you are going to be looking at redeemable debt and then irredeemable debt. If it is irredeemable debt, you use the formula. If it is redeemable debt, then you are going to be using the internal rate of return approach in that case. So business finance is a done deal waiting for you in the exam hall. That's number 1. Number 2 is that there is definitely going to be a question on business valuation. Whether you like it or not, the examiner is going to be excited on business valuation. So you want to make sure that you understand the principles surrounding business valuation, all the methods, assets. Now, the fun part is that the examiner over the last 4 examination sittings under this new syllabus has actually set exams on almost all the topics, almost all the methods. But you got to be familiar about the methods in that case: the asset method, the price earnings ratio method, the dividend valuation module, the discounted cash flow module, the free cash flow concept. So all the methods that relates to how we value businesses, where they are, it is in the exam hall. So you want to make sure you understand all the methods, and most importantly, how you solve questions relating to all the methods in that case. That is the second part. The third part is that whether I like it or not, there is a question waiting for you on risk management. Now, it could be foreign currency risk management or interest rate risk management. And now that could be either a theory area and or a computation area. So you have to know how the various methods of hedging works at the end of the day. Now, when we say the various methods of hedging, you know them already. We have the internal methods and then the external methods, and we will get into some of these things later on during our live stream sessions to assist you in that case. So definitely there's something on risk management waiting for us. 4, key area is going to be working capital management. Now, one thing you want to do is that working capital management is a very broad area in financial management syllabus. It's very broad. It has a lot of things there. But then most excitedly, it depends on how excited the examiner is. There are key areas about working capital management that the examiner liked to bring in the exam, or issues like management of trade receivables, dealing with factoring, and those things, dealing with how much net assets that we have, the cash operating cycle, and all of those things. So working capital management is also an area. Then the approaches to working capital management. So working capital management is also an area that the examiner would definitely bring a question. But because it's a voluminous area, it's very huge. It's a lot. Okay, not huge, but it's having a lot of issues that you need to cover there, because you need to look at management of inventories, management of cash, management of trade receivables, management of trade payables, the approaches of working capital management, the cash operating cycle, a lot of things there. But definitely there's something about that you want to also go into it. So what did I say? Business finance, dealing with issues about risk management, very critical, very basic, dealing with the issues about business valuation, dealing with the issues about working capital management. Once you solve these 4 areas, you're good. You should be able to go to the exam and pass. But then there are some theory areas from the beginning of your book. When you pick your financial management textbook, from the beginning, dealing with issues like capital markets, money markets, governance, stakeholders, dividend, and all those things, like those kind of things. So those are reading areas. You just be excited about them and read some of them and prepare some notes in that case. So Elizabeth, that's what you need to understand basically about the key areas you need to focus on for financial management. But like I said, we'll be having some sessions on this on the live stream. Very important, on the live stream, because one of the things we've not done really, it's lectures on financial management on the channel. And I mean, it's really something that people have said. So this time around, last semester I promised, but I couldn't deliver. But this time around, I'm hoping that we'll be able to cover a lot of things in financial management. And I have some notes already prepared, and we will see how that will go by in that case. I hope it makes sense for you, Elizabeth. Let me know in the chat. And I see some of you guys coming up. You are welcome. Give us a thumbs up on the video, and let's see what we can go through in that case. We are in week 6, like I said, and 10 more weeks to go. But most importantly, we've also had some interesting weekend sessions. Yesterday, like this, we have management accounting from 7 to around 9:20 or 9:30, where we dealt with specific challenges people had, and also went through our performance evaluation test that we did, and it was really interesting in that case. And I'm hoping that we will be able to go through that. Next one, Felix whatever that one, Gafache. Forgive me if I butcher your name. Okay, forgive me. I want to join your online corporate reporting. How will I catch, since we are in August? How will I catch up? Yeah, we've done week 6. It's gone, but the videos are available on our portal. So Felix, if you visit NhyiraPremium.com, enroll in the course, you'll be able to get access to all the previous videos. If you watch them, corporate reporting is on Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon. So if you watch them as fast as you can, if there are any areas you have challenges with, we could have a call and you'll be able to deal with that at the end of the day. So I would say that you still have a chance, just that you need to put in an extra work. If you see that you're not ready to put in extra work, then possibly you may want to go to May 2022. But if you think you can put in the work, corporate reporting, I think we've done about 12 standards so far, if I'm not exaggerating, maybe 11 or 12 standards that we've done so far. And we've also spoken about the overview of the syllabus and I think ethics. So if you're able to watch these and then follow us on the rest, and we will be also solving questions on weekends, Saturdays, Sundays, and all the extra classes coming in. So you'll be able to catch up if you are really going to be somebody who will work hard. But if not, then possibly you may want to consider May 2022. Raymond said, please, can you add taxation of income in advanced taxation, especially calculation of deductible finance costs under reliefs? Okay, so I don't know, maybe, so you're requesting that I do this. That's corporate tax liabilities, treatment of finance cost and finance gain. Okay, I'll deal with that. So treatment of finance cost and finance gain. Samuel said, yes, thanks a lot. You're welcome. Amina said, please, can you share your thought on how to answer questions on performance evaluation or measurement under management accounting? Okay, so when it comes to performance evaluation questions in management accounting, what's going to happen is that it depends on the context of the question, but it could have financial performance indicators and non-financial performance indicators. But what you want to do is to read the requirements first, and I'm going to share my thought also on this later on in class when we are doing this topic, probably around week 11 or so. I'll be sharing my thought on this in class. In that particular case. So you want to read the requirements of the question first. Then you go through the question and find out what kind of indicators are we using. There could be both financial indicators and non-financial indicators. And then you can now contextualize that with a question at your disposal in that case. So what you need to do is to find out what exactly are you looking at. If it is financial performance indicators, then you may look at various indicators there. If it is not financial, there could be various indicators there. That is more detailed. So I will share my thought on that, like I said, in class later on when we are doing this topic on performance evaluation. Then we will solve some questions also, so you see how exactly you go about it at the end of the day. So you see how exactly you go about it at the end of the day. I see some of you guys coming up. Comment in the chat box. What topics would you want me to cover on the live stream? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Lamini said, "Sir, can you please add intangible, non-current assets and financial instrument to your list?" Okay. Intangible, non-current assets and financial instruments. Now, note that we have lecture videos already on these on the channel. IFRS 9, IAS 38. I mean, we have a lot of videos already on the channel in relation to these, but we will still cover them on the live stream for this session as we continue, because I mean, no questions may come up and no thing will be coming up in that case. Then Malu, I don't know, did I get it right? Malu said, your videos have been helpful watching from Zambia. That's great. That's great. We thank God that videos have been helpful for you and assisting you to be able to prepare well for your exams in that case. And that is it about that. Let me know if there are any other questions. Put it in the comment section for me. What topics would you want me to cover? Because from tomorrow, we're going to be taking these topics one after the other. In case you don't follow me on Instagram, make sure you follow me on Instagram, because every morning the discussion will be posted on my Instagram page so that you know, oh, it relates to my subject that I'm writing. Then you can quickly join me on the live stream, because when you are joining on the live stream like this, if there is something I say you don't understand, you can quickly just put it in the chat. Then I reply live like that, and it makes it more helpful rather than watching the playback later on. And you may want to hear my thought on something, but you may not be able to really hear my voice, but I will just have a text in the reply there. So follow me on Instagram. If you are not following me, it's the same name, Nhyira Premium here, because the discussions will be posted there, and you will know the topics we are covering, the subjects we are covering. And then if it relates to what you do, you join us in that case. Then also, remember that for those of you writing public sector accounting and finance, we still have some copies of our book on public sector accounting and finance. This is a holy grail book you need for your exams. It has everything you need for the exams, and most importantly, has carefully selected practice questions, about 100 pages of questions and answers carefully selected on final accounts, ratios, budgeting, accounting basis, and all that. You're going to be having the questions in there, so you can get a copy of this. It's 120 Ghana cedis. We still have some copies available, and you can get a copy of that if you're writing public sector accounting and finance. For those of you who are outside Ghana, you can buy it on Amazon. When you visit Amazon, search for Nhyira Premium, you will see this book, and you'll be able to buy either the Kindle version or the hardcover directly on Amazon. In that case, we also have our advanced taxation book also available. I think we have some limited copies also of the advanced taxation book, so you can also get a copy of that if you are doing taxation. Now, even though the book is titled Advanced Taxation, we combined both the principles of taxation level 2 and then the advanced taxation proper level 3. So it's a 2-in-1 book that will help you to be able to pass the exams. It also has the key principles, and also when you buy this book, you're going to get in access to our principal documents that I've prepared, breaking down all the key principles. It's a PDF file that you will get access to once you buy this book. That will complement the summary of everything so that you can prepare well for the exams. It's also 120 cedis, and you can also get a copy by WhatsApping us 05011499296, as you can see there on your screen. Okay, so Samuel said watching from Nairobi, Kenya. Okay, Samuel from Kenya. That's awesome. That's awesome. Abraham Banda said, which days and what time do you do advanced audit and assurance? I don't know. Are you asking for our main lectures? Because on our main lecture, that is on Thursday, advanced audit and assurance is on Thursdays, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. on Thursdays. If you are asking of our main lecture, I don't know, Abraham Banda, if that's what you're asking, but it's on Thursdays, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. and you can enroll in the course on our online portal. It's 390 Ghana cedis per paper, and you can enroll and then join us on the Zoom sessions and get access to all the contents that you need as well in order for you to prepare well for the examination. But if you are asking it in relation to our YouTube, Facebook live streams, then that one, we don't have any specific day for that in that case. Right. So any other questions for me? Any other questions for me? Any other questions for me? So like I said, remember to follow me on Instagram if you are not already following me, and click the notification icon so that when I post, you'll be notified to check it out. Because every morning we are going to be posting there what we will be discussing for the day at 4:30 p.m. Mondays to Friday. Depending on the outcome of this, we may be chipping in some weekend live Zoom sessions where you join me on Zoom and you talk to me directly. I talk to you directly on Zoom, depending on the outcome. Let me know if it is something you guys will be excited about, depending on how engaging we get and the request that comes in that regard. And we could have some Zoom sessions coming in maybe on the weekends, and see where you talk to me directly, I talk to you directly. We get to know ourselves much better, and I provide you with the blueprints that you need to be able to pass the exams in that case. So that is it about that. It's been great joining you guys, and you guys joining me on the live stream. Thank you very much. It's always really my pleasure coming your way and always assisting you and helping you to pass the exams. Really want to thank everybody who shared the video. God richly bless you. All those who commented with the thumbs up, with the emojis, I really appreciate it a lot, because these are the things that trigger the YouTube algorithm as well as the Facebook algorithm to help us to reach the people that we have to reach to help to pass the exams at the end of the day. Sarah Mensa said, yes, sir, that would be great. Okay, so I guess you're talking about the Zoom sessions that I mentioned in that case. So that is it about that. And like I said, if you want to enroll and study directly under my mentorship, join our weekly live Zoom sessions. Then you can visit NhyiraPremium.com and enroll in a course today. It's 390 Ghana cedis per paper across all levels, and you can enroll, get access to the lecture videos, get access to the ebooks, get access to the question kits, and also join us live on our Zoom sessions so I can assist you to better prepare well for the examination and, most importantly, pass the exam. So thank you very much for joining the stream. Tomorrow we will be starting live with my teaching, and I hope that we will be able to cover as many as we can during these live streams so that we prepare you well for the examination so you can pass the exams in that case. So remember, follow me on Instagram, and I'll catch you same time tomorrow at 4:30 p.m. as we continue with our discussion. Till we meet again tomorrow, stay safe and stay blessed. Bye-bye.